Hello everyone. Crank just released Storyboard 1.1 a couple of days ago, and in that release we've included a beta version of our Lua Debugger. This enables you to debug your Lua scripts. So this is just going to be a high-level presentation on how to go about setting up your application to use the functionality of the Lua Debugger. So I'll just jump right into it here. We'll just go ahead and import a sample application. With Storyboard Designer, we ship a couple of sample applications. So as soon as you install it, you are able to quickly bring up a sample and kind of familiarize yourself with Storyboard Designer. So we'll just go ahead here, Storyboard Sample, go next, and as you can see here, Storyboard Designer goes out to the samples directory and populates the dialog box here with the samples that we have available. So I think I'll just go ahead and use our Lua sample. We'll import that. As you can see here, we have our screen, and over here in the navigator we have the individual folders and the corresponding files. Just a simple demonstration here, but we'll go ahead and simulate just to show you what this application does. So there you go. Comes up as when we click on this button here, it just changes the font type. So this is actually all being done in Lua. Do a click, suppress event here, calls the Lua script, and it changes the font type. And if we go ahead and click on this button here, it just does a context dump. So that basically is just a listing of all the individual layers, screens, actions, events associated with this project, and just gives a nice list of how everything's set up. Give your layer, name of that layer, the type, so on and so forth. Alright, so let me just stop this, and now I'll show you how to actually set up your application to use the new beta Lua Debugger. So our first step here is just to go into the Storyboard Simulator configuration. As you can see here, this is our current Lua application. Right here we have the Storyboard Runtime Options, and right now all we have in there is a couple of V's. So we've turned on verbosity, so it actually displays a little bit of information to the console, lets us know what's going on. So this is where you actually, or the place where you actually have to add an additional option to enable the Lua Debugger. So what we're going to set here is actually an option to tell us where the storyboard, or sorry, the Lua Debugger engine resides. So we just add a -o Lua, comma, debug equals, and now we go out to our Explorer here and find where that file is. So actually I had it already set up there, but I'll just walk through so it'll be a little easier for you to find it. So by default, Storyboard Designer is installed under Program Files, Crank Software, Storyboard Designer, Storyboard, and then we have to look into Plugins. And here, periodically Crank releases an update, and you're able to use Storyboard Designer to go out to the website and download the latest Storyboard Designer. And you'll notice whenever you look in here that there'll be multiple folders of the same plugin here. All you have to do is grab the latest one. So right here we've only have the latest installed, so this is the latest file, and you're looking for LD debug core. So we go in there to Lua .1, and this is the path to the Lua Debugger engine. Okay, let's close that. So we need this path. Do a copy, go back to Storyboard Designer, and we're going to need some quotes. That path, and now the actual file. Engine.lua. Close brackets. apply. And we can just quickly run here just to show you, or just to verify that this part of the setup is actually working. So we'll do a run, and we'll see here it's trying to connect to a server, which is great. So we'll go ahead and just stop that. Now the second part is the debugger side. Oh, sorry. Tried to do this, so now we go to the debug configuration, and we'll set up a new one here, new configuration, so we can call this whatever you'd like. Just call this debug. And for project, we have to tell it which project we're using. So right now, just call it Lua. And we have to enable the remote debug, and we just leave the default port as 8171. And we apply that. I'll go ahead and close. Now the way we run this is to go back to your application. Go ahead. So it's waiting to connect. Now we go to our debug. There we go. So now we're all connected. We haven't set any breakpoints or anything, but everything is now connected and running. So we'll go ahead and stop this. We'll go back to our application, bring up our Lua file here, and we'll actually set up breakpoints. There we go. I'll put something there. Go ahead and run. Again, it's waiting to connect. Go back to debug. So now whenever I click on changing the font, we should stop at our breakpoint. There we go. Oops. So as you can see, we stopped at our breakpoint. So now at this point on, we can use the debugger as you normally would. So we have the options here. We can start stepping through, looking at our individual variables. Individual functions that are included are here as well. Step over. And there we have it. So I hope you find this very useful, and we'll be adding improvements as we go along. As I mentioned, the Lua Debugger is in beta, but it's pretty solid at this point. So we thought we'd release it and let you provide some feedback and comments. And if you do have any comments or feedback, feel free to post them in the Crank forums. Thank you very much.